Happy to be speaking with you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Gender-based violence against, persons like yourself living with disability. How deep is it for those of us who watch from outside? What don't we know?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I'm asking gender-based violence against persons living with disability. What is the inside story that those of us watching from outside do not know?
Oh, okay. Once again, good morning to your listeners. And when we talk about gender-based violence, I think we all know it's about violence that is based on your gender or your disability. And when it comes to persons with disabilities, we are more marginalized than any other minority group. People feel that because you have a disability, you cannot do anything for yourself. They have to speak for you, even if it's not favoring you. You cannot say, you don't have the right to say no, because when you do that, it will mean you are being rude or something. But that is not the case. If I'm being maltreated because of my disability, and then you report to the state agencies and something that you cannot see or you cannot hear, instead of you humbling yourself for your partner to help you, you rather come reporting the person or something. So it's rather turn against you who are having the disability, because they think that somebody is helping you and you have to keep quiet no matter the circumstance they put you in. You have to keep quiet. So for us, that is a big of an issue. Yeah.
This violence, in what ways are they perpetrated against women, particularly living with disability? In what way?
For instance, when we take issues of relationship into consideration, our partners sometimes think that because we have a disability, they should have the ultimate say. You go for your salary, and your partner thinks that you give all to him to manage, him or her to manage for you. They think that they can determine the pace of everything. So all you have to do is to comply. And if you refuse to comply, you are seen as being rude or something. And in this case, sometimes when it goes to the law enforcement agencies like the police, sometimes they side with the perpetrators. They think that you have a disability, so you should humble yourself. You shouldn't say anything. Now, like something of a sort. And then our right to choices. Sometimes we want this, and they think that they have the power to make your decision for you, and all sorts of things, and so and also giving you derogative names. Sankrofwe, a lot of derogatory names that will put you off, or that will degrade you as a human being. Yeah.
Now, do people living with disability, particularly women, know when such violence is being perpetrated against them? Some people think, oh, it's okay because they have been conditioned to think that way. That since I've been a child, or since I was a child, this is how we have been treated. So even when they grow, they still accept it as normal when people are mistreating them or visiting violence upon them. Do they know when they are being mistreated or being violated?
Of course, we know. We know we are being mistreated. We know our rights are being violated. But sometimes, some of us, we just overlook some of the minor things. Because if you always want to complain, you will be seen as the complainer. You are always complaining. You are being rude. So we overlook the minor things, but we know our rights are being infringed upon. And then sometimes to those that are not minor, we seek redress where necessary.
Does this abuse get violent sometimes?
Yes.
And what form does the violence
it
take?
gets violent. We've had cases where spouses of persons with disabilities abuse them both verbally and physically.
I see. Wow. And how did that matter end?
Of course, some went up to the court level, and then you see spouses running away and they were nowhere to be found. Others, it doesn't go anywhere. For instance, issues of rape or something, you go to the police and you are asked to describe the person, or they ask you, how do you know? You can't see, so how do you know it is this person who raped you? How does the person look like? What is his complexion? And those questions. So it will put you off, definitely. So some ended up nowhere, whilst we are fortunate to pursue some of the cases at the law court.
Wow. So you don't know, and you can't see, but they're asking you to describe.
Yes.
That is not fair. That's not fair. I see. Anyway, in terms of policy direction, do you get a sense that the things that sometimes you describe at the top with the ministry and all of that, do you see them finding presence in the things that are done for you?
I think when it comes to the regulations or the legal framework, there are so many of them, like the Disability Act, the Africa Disability Protocol, the UNCRPD, and even the 1992 Constitution. So we have all the legal frameworks, but the problem is enforcing these laws, making sure that the law deals with perpetrators is the problem we are having. But the laws are there. They are clearly stated in the legislative framework, but implementation is the problem.
I see. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Regina Zilevu, and we'll see you tomorrow. She's the head of the visually impaired unit for the Okwapeman SHS. How many students do you have, though, under your wing?
We are expecting the Form 1, but the current Form 1 and 2, we are about 70.
70. And in terms of fiscal...
70 blind students in the midst of over 3,500 students.
And how do they get along? Physical access in the school, ramps and rails and all of that. How do they cope?
We are actually managing. We are managing because some of the facilities are in a deplorable state. Example, the road. Our roads are very bad. We have open gutters, no rails, and so on. But how for you? We are managing.
I see. And your textbooks, your Braille textbooks, do you get them? Are they there?
The textbook is a big issue. We don't have the textbook in accessible format like the Braille. But then those of them who are fortunate to have laptops were able to get the soft copies for them to use. But those who cannot afford the computer or the laptops depend on their seeing counterparts to read for them.
Regina, see you tomorrow, and I'm sure that we can have an extensive dialogue under the auspices of the AG Foundation, also Media General Oxfam, as we get the bigger conversation going so that all these questions can actually be responded to. We're grateful that you could speak to us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking to us here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.